People like to treat it like it's so easy, it's so simple. If you don't want a child, just give it up for adoption, right? And it's really not that simple. So, as I'm sure most of you guys know, Roe v. Wade has been repealed. And as a trans woman, I've often felt that I am unequipped to have some of the conversations around abortion, but I really want to make my position clear in this video. Historically, when women have been able to control their fertility, they've been able to have upward mobility in society. For that reason, and the fact that I believe in bodily autonomy, I do support abortion, and I'm pretty upset about it being repealed. Basically, right now, states can decide whether or not they want to give people with uteruses the ability to abort, but obviously they're not going to stop there. They're going to go for everything. So I feel kind of like it is one of my duties to stand up against that stuff. So if you follow me on Twitter, I'm doing a lot of like resharing of resources and things, because I know that right now there's a lot of confusing conversations happening. But we're here to talk about some very specific thing that I saw pop up in the conversations around Roe v. Wade, and that is this very particularly annoying sign. I'm sure you've seen it. Let's look at it. So this is a sign that was held by two people that says, "We will adopt your baby." Now, these are people at an abortion protest, and they're obviously wearing the shirt to say that they would adopt the children that would be aborted. Now, as you guys know, I'm an adoptee, so I have a lot of feelings about this particular issue, and I wanted to share them because for me, the first thing I thought of when I looked at this picture is, I fucking promise you, these two people would never adopt me. Now, the reason I bring that up is because what bothers me about a lot of this conversation is that people like to treat it like it's so easy, it's so simple. If you don't want a child, just give it up for adoption, right? And it's really not that simple. It's really not that simple. What bothers me, especially about this as an adoptee, is knowing that these people probably would not adopt someone like me, a Black child, without a political reason. And a lot of times when you see adoptions of Black children in a transracial way, which, by the way, that's what transracial means. When a person of one race adopts a child of another race, that is a transracial adoption. A lot of times when you see them adopt Black children, it does not end well, right? A lot of times people adopt Black children for political reasons. We saw this in the case of the lesbian couple who adopted 6 Black children, used them to post a lot of pro-cop propaganda on Facebook, who then eventually drove all 6 of their children, all 6 of their adopted Black children, off a cliff with them. And when I see stuff like this, it does make me think a lot about what could have potentially happened to me, right? And I think these two people, because they're thinking of adoption, not in a context of, oh, I want to help children, oh, I want to give children a safe home, a good home, because they're thinking about it in such a political context, I have a really hard time believing that they would be people who would be able to raise a child like myself and do it well. Black children are, of almost all children, the least likely to be adopted. This is from an article about specifically skin tone and how likely and unlikely it is for people of darker skin to be adopted. And you see how big of a gap there is even between the second least likely Hispanic children to be adopted out of foster care, right? And so, of course, when we talk about abortion, the people who are going to be directly affected by the repeal of Roe v. Wade are Black and brown people, right? And there's all this other really dark, upsetting stuff connected to this conversation. There's a conversation about a domestic supply of infants. There's the white nationalist conversation. A lot of this really does seem to be driven by a desire to have more white children specifically.
President Trump, on behalf of all the MAGA patriots in America, I want to thank you for the historic victory for white life in the Supreme Court yesterday.
I don't like seeing shit like this. I do not like seeing people pretend as though adoption is just this easy and accessible thing, especially for people who want to adopt. And the funny thing about this is the guy who is in this picture his name is Sabaldo de Wort, says, "It's not easy for us because we are not American citizens. Besides, the adoption process is costly. If you want to help us achieve it, we are open to receive it with much love. 5 or whatever, thanks." So these are people who are not even able to adopt. Even if they wanted to adopt, they would not be able to adopt. And they're marching on the streets, protesting the rights of women who live in this country and who would be directly affected by this to take control of their own bodies, right? I'm sorry, that shit really annoys me. People think about adoption as this easy thing, right? It is a very long and costly experience, right? I get why people are saying stuff like this. I get how they can arrive to the point, but I think it's worth pointing out that when it was time to put up or shut up, they couldn't do it, right? They couldn't do it. And how many people are out here saying, "Oh, I would adopt the kid. Don't have an abortion because I would adopt the kid." How many people are out there saying that right now who 100% would not be able to? You know what's really funny about that? That's the reason why a lot of people want to have an abortion, right? Did you know that it costs almost $334,000 to raise a child from birth to 17? It's incredibly expensive to have children. For a lot of people, it is the quickest way to poverty. And going back to what I said earlier, back in the day, when a woman got pregnant, essentially it was either you figure out a way to get rid of it in an underground way, or for the next 18 years of your life, you have to essentially put aside your goals and aspirations to take care of a child, right? It's not a coincidence that the people who lament a loss of traditional values, a loss of Christian values and things like that, it's not a coincidence that those are the same people complaining about this. It's not a coincidence that the people who complain about feminism, who are staunchly anti-feminist, are opposed to women being able to control their bodies, right? These are tied together. And so it really frustrates me to see shit like this because it's so callous. We already see that when these kids come, they don't give a fuck. We already see that when these kids are born to mothers who could not financially provide, that there's all of this energy spent yelling at these women for being welfare queens, da-da-da-da-da. These kids come, and then you want the mother to raise them, and then you want to chastise them for needing assistance. It's you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So I hate this. I want for people to understand that having children and raising children is an incredibly personal thing, and that's that. It's not so simple and easy as every person who wants an abortion is going to put the children in foster care or an adoption agency, and then suddenly, immediately, someone who wants that child is going to take it. It's really not that simple. And there are so many other darker sides to adoption. There's the issue of trafficking. There's the issue of exploitation and abuse. We see this all the time. Returning back to the topic of people using adoption as a political tool, we all remember Micah Stauffer, right? Who adopted a Chinese child, made all of this social media posts about it, about the whole process and about how amazing it was, and then decided to rehome him when he wasn't the adorable little Asian kid that he listen, I get passionate about this shit like this because even though my parents and I have our issues, this could have been me. And I am thankful that I was adopted by a family who did indeed care about me, because the idea of these people adopting a child for a political reason just is completely incompatible with what I would like to think is the reason people are adopting to begin with. So I just wanted to share with you guys my thoughts about this because it was something that really upset me. Long story short, I think these people fucking suck. I think that these people fucking suck. Like I said, I will always support a woman's right to choose, always support a woman's right to be able to control their biology if they can. And so for me, these things are really important to advocate for, especially right now.